Have you ever stopped someone from falling? But when you fell, no one reached out their hand. Have you always stayed strong, so others could lean on you? But when you were tired, no one even asked if you were okay. This is not a story about sacrifice. This is a story about knowing your worth. In a small village, there lived a horse. His name was Max. Max was the strongest in the valley. He carried crops from the fields, hauled firewood, and transported goods to the town market. His owner was a young boy named Jack. Jack had grown up watching Max work without ever complaining. No matter how muddy the road was, no matter how harsh the weather became, Max always moved forward. People would say, "This horse is pure gold. There's no animal more loyal than Max." But no one noticed how heavy his breathing had become. Deep inside, Max believed one thing: if I keep carrying everyone's load, I will never be replaced. Helping others had become his identity. One day, the load was heavier than usual. 2 wagons, 3 grain sacks, a long road ahead. Max kept walking, but this time, his steps were slower. Jack noticed something different. Max's legs were trembling. The villagers said, "Push him a little more. We're almost there." Max didn't stop. He was afraid that if he slowed down, they would see him as weak. Halfway through the journey, Max collapsed to his knees. The villagers shook their heads. He's losing his stamina. But his stamina wasn't the problem. The fairness was. For the first time, Jack realized Max wasn't just strong. He was exhausted. That night, Jack sat quietly in the stable. Max stood silently under the dim lantern light. Jack gently whispered, "How long are you going to carry everyone's weight?" In Max's tired eyes, there was an answer. Jack remembered something his grandfather once told him. When something keeps running without stopping, people only learn to run it harder. As long as you never pause to breathe, the world will treat you like a machine. That night, Jack made a decision. Max deserved more than work. He deserved respect. For the first time, Jack removed some of the weight. And for the first time, Max took a deep, peaceful breath. The next morning, the villagers returned. "Send Max. We're in a hurry." This time, Jack answered, "Not today." The villagers were shocked. "You've changed. That's not how business works." Jack calmly replied, "That's how respect works." Max stood freely in the sunlight. No ropes pulling him. No heavy carts behind him. Some villagers walked away. But days later, 2 new farmers arrived. They said, "We'll carry lighter loads. And we'll pay fairly." Max worked less. But he worked with dignity. For the first time in a long while, there was no exhaustion in his eyes. Only peace. Months passed. Max worked fewer hours. But he worked with value. Jack finally understood something powerful. Not every act of help is noble. And not every sacrifice is necessary. Sometimes, people don't honor your kindness. They depend on it. And when you always say yes, your yes loses its meaning. Remember this. Your heart is not a resource to be drained. Your energy is not unlimited. And you are not selfish. For setting boundaries. Maybe you are Max. Maybe you are Jack. But the lesson is the same. The moment you recognize your worth, the world begins to recognize it too. If you choose respect over exhaustion, type, "I choose respect."